As we come on the air at 6, Anchorage police identified the suspect involved in an officer-involved shooting at the Diamond Walmart. That also left an officer shot and another one in the hospital. It's now the 5th officer-involved shooting in Anchorage this year. Johnson Kuhn is following the story for us tonight.
But I want to be very clear. We almost lost an officer last night. Probably two at what took place.
Anchorage police say it started as a retail theft call at the Diamond Walmart on Old Seward Highway, but turned violent within moments inside a small loss prevention office. Dispatch got the call at about 10:03 Tuesday night. Walmart Loss Prevention reported a suspect in custody for retail theft. That suspect, now identified as 33-year-old DeAndre Robertson. Police say 3 patrol officers went into the loss prevention room where Robertson was being held.
This went from a simple misdemeanor arrest to a very violent act at the snap of a finger in close quarters.
When officers moved to take Robertson into custody, he tried to flee. Struggle ensued. During that struggle, police say Robertson pulled a concealed handgun and fired. One officer was hit twice in the lower body. They say Robertson also fired a round that struck another officer in the chest, but it was stopped by a ballistic plate. That officer then returned fire, and those shots were fatal. Robertson was pronounced dead at the scene.
The gun was his gun. It was not apparent to the officers when they made contact with the subject. The gun was in play once they went to the ground, but it was his gun. There was no indication he was armed before officers arrived or when they were in the room.
Police say the shooting was contained inside the loss prevention office, and no Walmart employees or customers were injured. One officer was rushed to the hospital and remains in stable condition. The 2 other officers also suffered injuries and were later cleared from the hospital. This marks Anchorage's 5th officer-involved shooting of 2026. Before this week, police had investigated 4 since late March, including 2 separate scenes on Burgaw Street, a Midtown exchange of gunfire that wounded an APD K-9, and a South Anchorage standoff that ended with a house fire.
In every instance, the subject not only had a gun, but fired rounds from that gun. This is not just a statistic. It's a crisis.
Mayor Suzanne LaFrance responded Wednesday, saying the city's retail theft crackdown is showing, quote, real momentum, citing hundreds of cases investigated since September. She said this incident, which started with a suspect already detained by loss prevention, shows how quickly a routine call can turn life-threatening. Chief Case reiterating during Wednesday's press conference his growing concerns around increased gun violence in the city, echoing previous calls for more community engagement.
Our families, in our schools, our homes, our churches, these groups within our community have the ability to be able to help the community members that they have in contact with or family members they have in contact with. We've seen entirely too much gun violence in the city. It's not the police department. That's the sole entity that's going to come up with the solution.
Johnson Kuhn, Alaska's news source.
NAPD says the officer in stable condition is still recovering and doing well. A follow-up briefing is expected once investigators can interview the officers involved. Well, today marked day 6 in the trial of Zarius Hildebrand. He's the man accused of killing his wife, Saria, in 2023. Today, the state also showed the jury pictures from a phone, some screenshots of explicit photos and conversations between Hildebrand and another person. Phone records for him allegedly also shows searches for guns in gun stores. After Saria's death, searches about porn and strip clubs were also allegedly in the phone use records. Hildebrand's defense team pushed back, saying there is no way to tell who was actually using the phone during those searches. They still argue that she died from a self-inflicted gunshot. A major update on a charter school case being watched statewide for what precedent it could set on who has the final say over approvals and controls funding. The state attorney and Fairbanks Charter School Group have now asked the Alaska Supreme Court to reverse a Fairbanks Superior Court judge's ruling yesterday, blocking the immediate opening of Pearl Creek Stream Charter School. The petition comes after the judge denied a request to force the Fairbanks North Star School District to open the school this fall. The judge found the roughly $2 million cost to the district was too significant, and the legal questions too unsettled to act.
can we deny a charter application because of impacts to the budget? If the state's assertion to that is no, then I don't think school boards actually have control over their budget.
So my optimism, not being a lawyer, is like statute's written, if the district wants to change that or the school board wants to change that, that should be brought before the legislature. Right now, we should be following our current state statutes.
And we are now watching to see whether the Alaska Supreme Court will take up the case. A Fairbanks Borough Assembly vote on leasing the proposed school building. Well, that's set for July 1st. Comprehensive coverage expands right now on our website and mobile app. And with just days from solstice, summer solstice wildfires have been popping up with temperatures increasing and areas drying out. Now, one of those is the Grandview fire that started last night and expanded to nearly 90 acres. It is one of 3 staffed wildfires in Alaska right now. Burn permits are suspended in Delta, Tok, and the Mat-Su. Burn suspensions also continue for Fairbanks, Salcha, and the rail belt areas. Melissa, how is the fire danger heading into the holiday weekend?
Unfortunately, it's going to get worse. We're seeing fire danger climbing with temperatures climbing and thunderstorm activity also likely increasing into the weekend. It's that time of year. Just really important that you're staying safe and staying smart. So this is your first alert again to these more dangerous conditions as we head into the weekend. You can see that lightning already popping up there on the west side of the Alaska Range. We do have this red flag warning in effect for all of the Mat-Su tomorrow. That is because of the increased lightning activity. To the north of Fairbanks, you'll see more of those conditions on Saturday. That's why you have a fire weather watch in effect, telling you a heads up. This is coming on Saturday. And then also to the north, we have a heat advisory in effect for the Yukon Flats for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. This is where we will see temperatures in the mid-80s over the holiday weekend. Otherwise, not seeing any other major storm systems pushing through. So the main concern is that lightning. Now, we are still monitoring that Grandview fire very closely at nearly 90 acres there just to the east of Soldotna, north of Sterling. This quickly grew. Fortunately, there are no evacuations at this time, and the power has been restored in this area. But again, a dangerous situation with how fast that fire increased. Again, just one of 52 active fires burning in the state, 11 of those new in the past 24 hours. It is otherwise beautiful. Mid-70s in Fairbanks, nearly 70 in Anchorage, and low 70s in Palmer. And as we look ahead to your Friday, even a touch warmer. Just watch out for those thunderstorms in the valley and the interior. And Rebecca will have that full forecast here in a few minutes.
Looking forward to it. Many soccer fans have their eyes on the World Cup match between Mexico and South Korea tonight. The showdown is even sweeter for Alaskans who are being represented by Obed Vargas on Team Mexico. Tyler Lane is at a watch party and is part of that excitement.
Well, Rebecca, we mentioned it earlier on this morning. This is the World Cup, an international fan fest. We've been seeing fans on both sides get excited. And after focusing on Mexico earlier in the day, we decided to take the pop over to K-Pub Korean Barbecue, where you can see fans cheering on their own red, white, and blue. Not too happy because Mexico just scored a moment ago. But if you take a look in this crowd, you can see some of the Mexican fan base that is still sticking around. They are having a good time. And obviously, we saw that a little bit earlier. They have been the prevailing fan base, and that's a real help to Obed Vargas, Alaska's own, formerly of the Cook Inlet, the Seattle Sounders, now on the World Cup stage, coming from Anchorage. And our own Jace Bertrand actually caught up with the family ahead of this incredible moment.
Before he was a center midfielder for Team Mexico, Obed Vargas played here at Anchorage Gardens for the Cook Inlet Soccer Club. And while the Estadio Guadalajara is a bit bigger than the pitches he grew up playing on here in Anchorage, Vargas's family says practicing in the last frontier helped prepare him for the World Cup stage.
I mean, he's gone everywhere being from Alaska, and he's always been proud of that, and he's always shared his stories.
They grew up there, and they play soccer there, and just moved at the 14, but really all the preparation is from Alaska.
That story, according to his family, has led to some entertaining reactions.
A lot of people not knowing that there's a lot of soccer being played in Alaska and a lot of talent coming out of there and Mexicans living in Alaska. So I think for a lot of people, it's been like a culture shock.
Vargas is making history by being the first Alaskan to be on a World Cup qualifying team. If he's called onto the pitch, he will again make history by being the first Alaskan to play in the World Cup.
I don't know what is going to happen. Maybe I start crying or something.
My parents have worked so hard for this, and so has he. So I think it's just going to be really emotional.
Vargas's family says he has plenty of supporters watching from the last frontier. That includes aunts, uncles, and his older sister Frida, who sees him playing on the stage as proof that anything is possible.
I think Alaskan soccer has been growing for a really long time now, and the competition has been growing, but I really hope that people get to see him play and feel inspired and want to join, want to play, want to watch more soccer.
Now, Mexico has a long way to go before they get to call themselves World Cup champions, but win or lose, Obed Vargas is making history. Jace Bertrand, Alaska's news source.
Happy for sure so far with the score. Mexico up 1-0. Stay tuned. We'll be recapping this incredible day tonight in the late edition.
Thanks for listening. Click subscribe so you can get the latest podcast from Alaska's news source automatically. And stay up to date with breaking news and in-depth reporting available for free 24/7 with the Alaska's news source app.